welcome to this month's Quilters Vibe with Christina and Daisy and I. Here is this month's quilt inspiration, which is this block with the beautiful fall leaves. Really, really pretty inspiration. And I'm going to take this inspiration quite literally, which you will see in just a minute. I wanted to make sure I had the entire image in the video for anyone that's interested in it. Okay, so I have these older photos of my son. He's now 13, but he was 2 in this picture, in these photos. I found them among my printed photos, and I'm sure I've scrapbooked them before, but I wanted to scrapbook them again. I will be using what is definitely my most favorite fall collection this year, which is Carta Bella's Fall Market. I'm just flipping through the papers from the collection kit. And I'm going to be using a lot of these papers. I'm going to use all these gorgeous patterns, and I'm going to be punching 1-inch squares with all of these patterns to make my layout today. Oh, and I'm showing you another image of the Quilters Vibe inspiration piece. So I'm going to make I did the first 2 of these leaves off camera, and I'm going to do 1 on camera to show you how I did it. I'm starting with a sheet of white cardstock. This is not heavy cardstock. This is just thin, like maybe 80-pound cardstock. So when I did this one, I followed the pattern that I had already used for the other 2 leaves, but if you're starting from scratch, I just use the pattern that's on the quilt block, and you'll get with 1-inch squares and just follow it through with all different patterns of paper, and it's really not that hard. So you can see there, I'm just using the ones I've already created as a template to create a third one. But again, if you're starting from scratch, it's very, very easy. You just use 1-inch squares and follow the quilt design. Not hard, a little tedious, but certainly not hard. And if you kind of turn the leaf a little bit, it makes it easier because you can just follow the lines across then. Once I have my leaf shape pieced together, I'm going to take a T-square ruler and a pencil, and I'm just going to freehand. Well, I used the T-square ruler to get the stem down the middle so that it was nice and straight, and now I'm freehanding the veins in the leaves just with a very light pencil. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab a mouse pad and a pokey tool, and I'm going to poke stitching holes over my pencil lines. Once I had all of the pencil lines poked, I erased the pencil lines with a sand eraser, and then I just used some coordinating thread and did a very simple back stitch and stitched my pencil marks. Now I'm going to go ahead and trim the leaf off. I'm going to fussy cut the leaf out of the paper. So I'm just getting rid of some of the extra white cardstock I don't need, and then I'm going to get my fussy cutting detail scissors. And I'm going to cut around my leaf. I am leaving a little bit of a white halo, simply because the stem part that sticks down definitely needs that bit of cardstock around it. And I'm just going to go through. Now you can kind of see here I'm doing this with little bits at a time. If you do it this way, it's lots of straight lines, which are fairly easy to cut. And it didn't take very long to do this. Okay, so I have all 3 of my leaves ready to go. I want to add a little bit of stenciling detail to my background. So this is just a nice heavy piece of basil marshmallow cardstock. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use some purple tape to tape off the edges of my stencil just to keep it a little bit cleaner. I still end up going outside a little bit, but for the most part I did okay. Alright, I am taking my life-changing brushes, and I'm using them through the stencil. This is this Carta Bella stencil that goes with the Fall Market collection. I'm using ripe persimmon, carved pumpkin, and fossilized amber, and I'm going to create a little bit of an ombre background, just a bit. So I'm going to start with the ripe persimmon, then go into the carved pumpkin, and then go into the fossilized amber. I'm just creating a stenciled band down the middle of my page. And again, you're not going to see a ton of this in the finished layout, but it's going to provide some interest, and it kind of masks off or helps with my page design to have that nice band right down the center of my page. So I'm going to ever so carefully remove the stencil. I'm going to take it away and clean it, and then I'm going to come back, retape it down, and this time I'm going to start with the carved pumpkin and move into the fossilized amber. This is a really, really pretty stencil. I used it on a card earlier this month, or maybe it was last month. I think it was this month, and I really like how it turned out. It's a very, very pretty stencil. It just adds that little bit of detail to a background. And because of the repeating pattern, if you cover a lot of it up, in which case I'm going to do, you don't feel like you've lost the pattern of the stencil. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mat my 4x6 photo. I had a couple of different ideas for this layout, but in the end I went with one of the 4x6 and one of the little wallet-sized photos. I'm going to mat the 4x6 on this lovely dark plaid paper, which might be my favorite pattern. It's so pretty. And I'm going to place it right there in the center of my layout. Then I'm going to take this smaller wallet size and I'm going to mat it with what is probably my second favorite paper from this collection. And it's this lovely aqua blue color, which I just love. This collection has such a beautiful fall color palette. I just love the colors in it. They're a little different and unique and just beautiful. So there's my little wallet. I also have that large 4x6. I also have it printed as a wallet as well, but I liked the idea of using the 4x6 and not the wallet, so that I was able to make that photo kind of stand out a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop up that wallet, give it a little bit of dimension, and overlap it on the 4x6 photo. And now I'm going to go ahead and add my leaves. I'm using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to get a really good adhere these leaves down really, really well. What I basically did was I took the Nuvo and I put it all over the areas I had stitched, which is going to allow the stitching to be more secure to the page and less likely to come undone. And so I'm just going to add all 3 of these leaves. So each of these leaves probably took me, including the stitching, about 45 minutes. So this is definitely a little bit of a time-consuming design idea. That being said, you would not need to make 3. I could, you could have made just a beautiful layout just with one of these leaves. But I wanted 3, and I was on a roll. And I made one, and then I had so many 1-inch squares left over, so we needed to make 3. This would also make a super fun center detail on a card, on a greeting card. It'd be very lovely. So I'm just trimming off. I didn't want to put too many of these leaves off the edge of the page, but I wanted to give the idea of them kind of falling down, so I just took little bits and put them off the page. Next, I have some die cuts here. I liked the idea of these kind of rectangle pieces from the die cut pack. I'm going to fidget with them just a little bit. I also have some epoxy flare. This is one of the brand new releases from Scrap and Happy Studio, and I just loved these little pumpkins, and I thought they were absolutely perfect for this collection. And this photograph was taken in October, so this little one that says my favorite color is October, I think. Something like that. I decided that I would use that almost to, kind of put a month to the photos. So I really like these die cuts, but I feel like they need to pop off the page a little bit more. So I'm going to pair each of these die cuts with one of these epoxy flares, and then I'm going to grab a lovely contrasting orange paper and back two of them with some of that orange paper to give it a little more contrast. I don't have a lot of other things here to add to my layout. I decided to keep the rest of the page very simple. A few enamel dots, the epoxy flares. I have a couple of stickers, but nothing that is going to overwhelm the page or overwhelm the leaves or make the page super busy. Just a few little things to add some details. And since I kept to this center design, it means that there is a good bit of white space on this layout. There's lots of places for your eye to kind of rest and look at the different elements. I went and added these cute cork stickers to my page, and now I'm just collecting together 3 of these little pumpkin stickers, and I'm going to place them right beside the year. And then I'm just going to take a look and make sure that everything is balanced, spaced out correctly. I'm going to push down on all the leaves to make sure they're good and adhered to the page. And I think this is where I leave this one. I can't remember if I add anything else. I think I just added, there were these teeny tiny little acorn and leaf stickers. And I used them on the layout kind of like sprinkles, or almost like enamel dots, but not quite. And I think I had another set of enamel dots up by the title just to bring your eye around it a little bit better. But that's it. So that's where I'm going to leave this one. Be sure to head over and check out both Daisy and Christy's Quilters Vibe videos this month and see how they take on our inspiration. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will link all of these beautiful fall products below from a Cherry on Top's website, which is where I purchased them, or where I got them. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.